Hello, Michigan gardeners. This is Doug at Bozzard Family Farm. We're on Verona Road, just outside of Marshall, Michigan. It is Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, and we've got warm enough weather, so it's a good time to plant dahlias. And I thought I'd show you some of the dahlias we have to plant and how I plant those dahlias. So some of our dahlias we dug out of the ground. They won't winter over in Michigan. It's too cold. You'll freeze the tubers, and you'll see a clump that I dug last fall has these tubers. And you can also see this one has started to sprout. We keep them in a cool Michigan basement, not freezing, can't freeze. Again, you don't want those tubers to freeze and then they explode and are no good anymore. So you want to store them in a cool place, not freezing, maybe 45 degrees. And then what we can do is take this clump, which we stored over in our basement in a box like this, and then I poured lots of our potting soil over the top of them when I got the box fairly full with these different tubers, plants. And the soil tends to help keep the tubers from drying out too much in the summer. So we just put some potting soil over the top. Some people use vermiculite. Some people store them by wrapping them in like wax paper and stuff. You really have to play with this and decide what techniques works best for you. But we have an old Michigan basement that stays reasonably cool, but it doesn't freeze. And we can store these boxes down there with different varieties of dahlias. This dahlia is a favorite of mine because a lady down the street, Ethel Hazard, gave us these dahlias years and years ago. It's best if we can recall, it was Purple Dome. I don't think that's the actual name. I think the name got lost, but I just write on the box that it's Ethel Purple. And it's kind of a burgundy purpley color with white in it. Really pretty, makes an excellent cut flower. So if you're interested in dahlias, we probably will have some left over after I'm done planting over the next couple of days, and we'll sell those at the farm stand for like $5 for a pretty good sized clump. So this is one of our clumps, and I'm gonna divide it up because I can see that there's a plant here, and this variety you can almost tug it apart. So I can just plant that as one plant. And that one came right off there, and I've got some growth right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. And then this one, I might just leave that alone. It's got several growth points coming on it. That's how we do it, and I plant out a few of these of that color, and then I order some new ones. I ordered some from Van Burgundian. That's an online company, and they sent it maybe a week or 10 days ago, and this is what they sent, and it's already really started to grow. So when I plant this, I'm going to try to be really careful with this eye, as they would call it, which is already sprouted growth. We also ordered some new ones from Swan Island, which is out on the west coast, and they're very much known for their dahlias. And so this company, you get basically that single tuber, and there's an eye right there that started to grow, and they sent theirs to us, gosh, it was late April, and now here it is, we're moving into the latter part of May. So I just followed their instructions, which were put these in a cool place if you're not ready to plant, and I don't want to plant until we're out of frost and freeze time, and hopefully we are now that it's May 24th, and I'll just make a hole in our black plastic and plant this in it, and I'll show you in a minute how we do it. But this variety, this was a Fall into Dahlias collection, so it had Iced Tea, Gabrielle Marie, Cooper Blaine, Good Day, and Voodoo. And if you're not sure which ones they are, Swan Island actually marks them right on the tuber. So this one is Voodoo. And they give you a tag. I can put that tag in there with it so that I know which variety I have there. And then in the fall, these will have all multiplied and gotten bigger like this clump. There'll be many tubers. And then you can make a decision then if you want to divide it. Some people divide them in the fall. I prefer to just store them and then bring them out in the spring. And then I come out here in the field and I can just cut them up into different sizes. Not all the tubers are going to have a really prominent eye showing. So this is a light yellow one, and I already broke it apart, cut it up. But as long as I'm including some of the stem and a big enough chunk like this from one of ours, I'm pretty sure there's an eye there that's going to sprout. Some dahlias are notoriously low on eye numbers, but when I plant something this big, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get more than one eye sprouting, even if I can't find it on the inner part of the stem sprouting. And sometimes it's just the faintest, I don't know if you can see that or not, but right there is an eye that's starting on this yellow variety. And I just call it light yellow. Makes an excellent cut flower. That's what I do during the summer. I'll mark which ones are working the best for us as cut flowers, give us a nice stem, push out new stems, more stems, and we'll have dahlias, usually some dahlias late July, but then all August and September, and depending on when we get a frost. One year we got a frost September 19th, so it was over for the dahlias at that point. Last year, that frost didn't come until the middle of October, which is more typical for our area. So we had dahlias right up until the middle of October. Wonderful cut flower. They're also great if you want to plant them in a bare spot in your perennial garden. A lot of people do that. Or up around your house to have some nice color. You can get dahlias that are border dahlias. They're very short. Or these, which are taller. And they do require some support. So ultimately I stake and tie them up with our tomato stakes and the tall stakes, and then I twine twice around like I did, I showed you in the video with the snapdragons. So anyway, I brought my little spade because I don't want to make a bigger hole than I need to make in the black plastic. And I'm just going to plant a few of the purple ones from Ethel to show you how we're doing that. So again, just make a hole either side of the drip tape. And again, I make it as small as I possibly can because I'm going to have to weed that hole until the dahlia fills out. And then I just put the dahlia down in there, push the dirt back down and around it. And the eye is just coming up. Sorry, you can't see that one. But the eye is just above the ground, so coming up. And if I can't see the eye, then I cover it with dirt and watch and wait patiently. There's no need to water these, and that's another thing you often get warned about, is not to water the dahlias when you first plant them. Let them sprout first. Because if you water them immediately and you're like, oh, it's not growing, I'm going to water it again, your tubers may rot before they start to emerge from the ground. So let them work it on their own time, and once you see you've got some good growth coming, then it's time to give them some water to get them going if you haven't had water in a while. And if we're lucky, we'll just keep getting the rains the way we have this spring, and we haven't had to turn on the irrigation yet. So that's the dahlias. In the fall, I can do a video where I'm digging them up. That tuber that I just planted will be much, much bigger at that point. And again, I don't do any dividing in the fall. I just put them into these boxes like this. Once I dig them up, I don't shake all the dirt off. Ethel always told me, keep some of the dirt on it. It helps to preserve moisture around those tubers. And then I just take our potting soil that we have and I just sprinkle it all over the top of the dahlias in the box to, again, help the tubers to conserve moisture so that they don't dry up and then become unviable to plant. But we've been doing this for several years, and we just do it in our old Michigan basement, which stays cool in the 40s, but doesn't freeze. And this potting soil is great stuff to now, I just put it in around that dahlia I just planted. It's got peat and vermiculite and perlite in it, which are all good things to help aerate your soil. And it's also sterile, meaning that it's weed-free. So it kind of helps me keep down the weeds that are going to come through there. And I'll have to weed this 2 or 3 times before those dahlias get up high enough so that I can I can stop weeding. But that's the dahlia production. If you got one of them at our garden club meeting back in April, we gave some away as door prizes. Then go ahead and plant them now. You're all set to go. You can divide it up if you can see more than one growth coming, or you can plant the whole thing and just enjoy the dahlias as the summer comes along. It'll take until latter part of July before you start seeing a lot of flowers, but then you'll have either cut flowers or just beautiful flowers in your garden for that summer, all the way until we freeze or frost. And again, I'll do a video on the fall as to when we dig them up. There's a timing to it, and then go over the storing procedure again with you. Take care. The next video I do will be on peonies. I'm going to go through the garden. They're just about to start blooming. And over in the background over here, you'll see I have a row of peonies out in the field. I get a lot of my divisions from that we sell at the greenhouse in 3-gallon pots for $25. And they're all ready to bloom in the pots too. So if you're interested in picking up a peony, we've got plenty of those. And I'll definitely save back some of the dahlia tubers. I should have them planted before Memorial Day weekend, by Memorial Day weekend at the latest. And if you want to stop and buy a dahlia tuber for $5, we'll sell our leftovers that we have, because I know I've got plenty in the basement that I'm going to have some left over. Take care. I'll see you the next time.